piece you're about to hear rhymes with silver, which I wrote for ESP. So while they're catching their breath, I'll just tell you a little bit about how it works. And I say I wrote it for ESP because if you write a string quartet, you could be writing for any number of the many, many ensembles that are playing string quartets around the country. But there's really no group quite like ESP, so you really write it for them. And I didn't even know that groups of 12 or 16 saxophonists existed until last year when I heard them play the Rite of Spring and Shostakovich memorized and arranged by the group. And as soon as I heard that, I knew I had to write for the ensemble. And so what I thought of was to write a piece that was kind of like a concept album by an imaginary band. So the 4 movements which are listed on your program are like individual tracks from that imaginary album. And they work as follows. So the first one, Photo Respiration, is a piece I never thought I would write. It's like when you get a word stuck in your head and you just can't get it out. Well, that word, photo respiration, got stuck in my head in freshman biology. I'm talking freshman biology in high school, not in college. And so it's this word that was just like running around in my head, and my friend and I were studying, and I still couldn't tell you what photo respiration is, but the word, I remember the tune that went along with the word really, really well. And so they commissioned this piece for the Greentopia Festival that seemed appropriate to finally take that word, photo respiration, which has something to do with plants, and finally write it out for the ensemble. So that word is what you're going to hear in the first movement. You'll recognize the tune as it goes along. The second part, assembly, is some kind of weird machine which I think runs on steam, but the different parts of the machine are all moving at different speeds. It's like if you look at the way an engine's working, some parts are moving fast and some parts are moving slow, but the whole thing kind of goes along at the same rate. Well, they're all basically going to be playing at different speeds in that second movement, but they still kind of get to the end at the same point. The third part, Prelude, starts out kind of like Bach, but it gets distorted really, really quickly and ends up ending somewhere totally different from where it began, hence the distortion of the title. And finally, the last movement, WSAX, is kind of if you've ever fallen asleep listening to the radio, and whatever's on the radio is going into whatever you're imagining while you're asleep. So, except that when they've fallen asleep, it's all the parts from the rest of the music that's going into whatever they're playing. So the WSAX movement is some sort of weird dreamlike radio movement that incorporates whatever is on the air at the time with whatever was going on in the piece. So that said, thanks to ESP, and I'll let them take it away.